Hey, it's Huck. And I'm sorry about the oxygen, but for some reason, all day I've been very short of breath. And it's one of the reasons why I don't do as many videos anymore, is I don't like getting on there when I'm, either having a difficult time talking or I have to wear this in order to do it. But today is like a red letter day, and so I have to get a video out. I've been meaning for a long time to do a video about the fact that the Democrats have been, going by the book and waiting for the courts to decide everything instead of, showing Trump that they mean business. There are numerous times, dating more than a year ago, long before the Mueller report ever came out, that they had folks testifying before the House Judiciary Committee or the House Intelligence Committee or the House Oversight Committees, and these witnesses either flatly refused to answer questions, claiming some completely fictitious argument of immunity or of presidential executive privilege, which in most cases never existed to begin with, and rather than hold these witnesses in contempt of Congress and put them in jail where they belong until they would come out and actually answer the damn questions, it seemed like Jeffrey Nadler and the other chairmen of these committees seemed to be satisfied to just let these issues fester in the courts. And I'll be honest with you, we can't have a lot of confidence anymore in even where the courts are going to go. But this week, above all else, I think has riled everyone. And it's finally even gotten to Nancy Pelosi, who's been like the last Democrat and the most important Democrat to finally get on board with the impeachment train. And that is because this whole issue over the Ukrainian incident, this phone call, allegedly that Donald Trump made with the new Ukrainian president, and apparently he was withholding hundreds of millions of dollars in aid to help them in their defense against Russia, who is even now waging war in their eastern provinces. And Trump apparently a week or two before this phone call notified his administration that they were not to forward these $240 million or whatever it was. And then allegedly during this phone call, he discussed how basically extorted a ransom for that money, and in the form of dirt on Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden for the work that Hunter Biden allegedly did in the Ukraine. At any rate, of course, all of this is kind of, it's kind of like the meeting in Trump Tower, in 2016, when the Russians supposedly were offering dirt on Clinton. At any rate, this is obviously, if true, an impeachable offense. And the fact that that this was reported to the DNI, and a whistleblower came forward to so concerned was he of the lawlessness of this action that a whistleblower tried to abide by the appropriate statutes and report this, and there are protections for whistleblowers if they do everything by the book, in which case they did. Well, at any rate, to make a long story short, apparently inside the Justice Department, there is something called the OLC, it's a legal counsel for the White House, basically. And over the years during the Trump administration, and at times even before the Trump administration, in the Bush administration, for instance, the OLC has been guilty of coming up with, supposedly they were supposed to give the White House counsel an independent review and guidance on the law. But more often than not, it has been used under, recent Republican administrations to justify just about anything illegal a Republican president wants to do. And it's certainly been used in this case under Trump. And not only are these written opinions by the OLC not based in law or precedent, but they are also, again, privileged and secret and answerable, basically, seemingly to no one. Anyway, it was the OLC, supposedly, allegedly, that came down with the opinion that the DNI did not have to report this information, even though he found the whistleblower's report to be credible and urgent, meaning that this was, in their opinion, a clear case of lawlessness, of wrongdoing on the part of, in this case, the president. They are to report this immediately to the appropriate agency, in Congress, and this would be the Intelligence Committee, and it's this OLC report that is basically come down. Basically, my understanding is the OLC is kind of headed by the Assistant Attorney General, whose name right now, frankly, escapes me. But this is, it seems like the Attorney General, William Barr, and the Assistant Attorney General are doing everything they can in the Justice Department to make everything go away that can harm or, make trouble for Donald Trump. And this is no exception. So I think the only way to get to the bottom of this, ultimately, is for the House of Representatives, under Democratic leadership, to go full bore into an impeachment inquiry. And with a full impeachment inquiry, they have access to all of this information. And even the courts would have to agree with that. So I know the argument, the political arguments, are twofold. One, well, the Senate will never go along with it, so what's the point? If anything, it'll backfire on the Democrats and just rile up the Republicans, and more Republicans will show up. Somehow looking back at how it backfired on the Republicans when they tried to impeach Clinton. Well, the truth is I think Clinton's errors of judgment were of a personal nature and not related really to, carrying out his official duties, so to speak. So that's one. But two, I think, if the measuring stick is, if you're going to fail, because the Republicans are not going to go forward, Um, so your alternative is, well, let's just not do it. That's an absurd argument. First of all, when Richard Nixon was impeached, when the impeachment hearings were first, when the Watergate hearings were first launched, the support for Nixon was actually quite high, and that changed as more information came out, as the truth came out, which those hearings helped do. I'm concerned a little bit that it's a different world today. We get our news from different sources today, so you're not going to have people riveted to watching these impeachment hearings on TV like they were watching the Watergate hearings on TV back then. People have their choices of where they want to get their news, and as we've already seen, there are numerous conservative voices out there and channels and networks that are going to spin this every way they possibly can. But that still misses the point. So I'm encouraged, and I think it's long overdue. And I think we are maybe seeing the beginning of the end here. I think it's all going to start unraveling. How quickly, I guess, is the question. Anyway, I'm going to get off. I'll get back with you when I'm feeling a little bit stronger. Don't be alarmed. This happens from time to time, and tomorrow I might just be fine. So, at any rate, I thank you for watching, and I'm sorry that it's taken me this long to get to you, but I wanted to touch on this. I can't wait for the impeachment hearings to begin, frankly. It's long past due. We'll see you again real soon.